This video is going to explain how you can take information off of your screen and hand it in on a Moodle quiz. So this course has been set up to be paperless. That means you're going to hand in all of your work electronically, often using Moodle quizzes. And that saves you a bit of money because you don't need to buy a paper copy of the lab manual. However, I do need to teach you a few skills so that you know how to capture information off of your computer screen and then paste it into your Moodle quiz. So this video will teach you how to do that. Now, you may be aware that you can screenshot your computer screen. So on a Windows machine, there's a little button on the keyboard that says Print Screen, and you press that, and it captures a screenshot of the whole computer screen. Likewise, on a Mac, you can press Shift-Command-3, and that will also screenshot your entire screen. However, that's not the most useful thing for our purposes. What we'd like to do is actually screenshot just a little area of the screen, the part that's important. So if you're on a Windows PC, what you'll be doing is you'll hold down the Shift key and the Windows key. That's the key on your keyboard that has a little picture of Windows on it, and then you tap the S key. On a Mac, you're going to hold down Shift, Command, and then the 4 key. And here's what it does. So I'm on a Windows PC, so I'll hold down Shift, Windows key, S, and my screen goes gray. And at this point, I can now click and drag to highlight just a little area of the screen that I want to screenshot. And it copies that into my clipboard. It'll work basically the same way on a Mac. You'll click Shift Command key 4, and then you'll be able to highlight an area of the screen. So now, clicking on my document here, I can paste that image that I took. So that's the little screenshot that I took using this technique. So I'll delete that so it's not confusing. But again, if you're on a Windows PC, you hold down Shift, Windows key, S. And if you're on a Mac, Shift, Command key, 4. And then you can highlight just the area of the screen that you're interested in. So now let me show you how you use this to complete a question on a quiz. So I'll go back to my Moodle quiz. And in this question, they're saying, draw a best fit line on this graph. So they've got some data points and they want you to draw the straight line that represents the overall trend of the data. So how do you do that? Well, there's a couple different ways, but what you basically want to do is open up this image on your computer, draw a straight line on it somehow, and then screenshot that, and you're going to paste it into your answer later. So if you have a tablet and a stylus, you might want to open up the PDF version of this image and annotate it with your stylus. Or you can open up the Word version and use the drawing tools in Word to add your line. I'm going to show you that one later. Another option is that you can actually copy this image directly out of the quiz. So you right-click on it and say Copy Image, and then you can open up some drawing program. So I'll open up Paint on Windows, and I'll paste that image in here. So I can click Paste, and that pastes it in, and then I could draw my line on here if I wanted to. So that would be one way to do it. But like I said, I'm going to show you this actually on Word. So I'm going to close that, and I'm going to open up this Word version of the image. And I will need to enable editing. And now I want to use the drawing tools in Word to add my line on here. So you go to Insert, Shapes, and it's these line tools in particular that are going to be the most useful for us. So there's a straight line tool there. And I can draw my straight line on, and if I'm not happy with it, I can also drag the ends of it around so I can change the slope of it. Insert, Shapes again, and there is also a curve tool. This is pretty useful later in the course, where to draw a curve, you would start by clicking once, and then you click a couple of times, and it lets you draw a curved line, and then you double-click to finish the curve. And then Insert, Shapes, and the freehand tool is also useful. So that lets you draw freehand however you want to. And finally, one last one, Insert, Shapes, and under Basic Shapes, there's also a text box. So that allows you to, for example, label things. Now, when you're totally happy with your drawing and you're ready to go and put this into Moodle as your answer to the quiz question, you're going to screenshot your graph. So just like I showed you, Shift, Windows key S for a Windows machine, or Shift, Command key 4 for a Mac. Highlight just the area that you're interested in. So in this case, just my graph. That gets saved to the clipboard of my computer. And now I can go back to my quiz, scroll down, click into the answer box, and paste that image in here. Now, how you paste it depends on what browser you're using. So for example, I'm using Chrome right now, and I can click on the 3 dots over here, and click Paste. But like I said, it'll be different for every web browser, so I actually want to teach you a way to paste things that will work for every system. And that is, on a Windows machine, Control-V will paste your image in there. On a Mac, it would be Command key, V. And that pastes your image in here. I'll talk more about that in just a moment. But now I've pasted in my graph, and I can continue on to the next question if I want to. Now, I just want to point out, if for any reason you're finding that this is not working, that you can't seem to paste these screenshots in, then what you do instead is you can always upload a file. So for example, you can always open up a blank document, paste your screenshot into that, save it to your computer, and then come back to your quiz and upload that file here. So that's the backup. If you can't get the screenshot to work in the answer window, just upload a copy of your work in the file drop area instead. So now I want to talk about that all-purpose way of pasting images into a web browser that I mentioned before. So what I did is I clicked Control-V on my computer, and if I was on a Mac, I would have clicked Command-V, and that pasted the image into the answer window. So that's called a hotkey, and there's actually a few of them that are very useful to know about. So if you want to select everything in a document, on a Windows PC, you'd click Control-A, and on a Mac, you'd click Command-A. So just to show you what that looks like, if I hold down Control and then tap the A key, it highlights everything in my document. So Control-A or Command-A to select all. If you then want to copy that, you click Control-C on a Windows PC or Command-C on a Mac, and that will copy everything that you selected. So again, Control-A selects everything, Control-C copies whatever I selected. And then if I want to paste it, I can use Control-V. So going to a blank document, Control-V or Command-V if you're on a Mac will paste whatever was copied to the clipboard. I'll go back to my original document, and the fourth one there is also cut. So Control-X or Command-X will actually cut your selection. So if I wanted to just cut this little bit, I'd go Control-X. It cuts it out of my document there, and then I can go Control-V to paste it here instead. So those are some handy things to know just when you're working with computers. But when it comes to a quiz, the important things you're going to be wanting to do is, first of all, to screenshot your work. So either Shift Windows S or Shift Command 4, highlight just the area that you want to screenshot, and then you'd go back to your quiz, and Control-V allows you to paste that image in as your quiz answer. And as I said, as a backup, you can always paste it into an empty document and then upload that file instead.